And we're live. Turning that audio down just a skosh because it seems like it's a little louder than my voice. Okay, there we go. Send out the tweet, and skill points can also buy new thought cabinet slots or forget old thoughts. Feels like such a waste. I don't wish to have this thought anymore. I don't want to be this kind of animal. Ooh, that's a somewhat unpleasant sound. Oh, here we are. Previously on Disco Elysium, we fucked up bringing down a corpse. Also, I'm like about to die of emotional problems. Yeah, Kono, fuck him up. Fuck him up, Kono. Every time I start this stream, I always have to remember not to say welcome to Revachol. Because that, as we may discover this installment, is a racist phrase in this world. It's used, it's anti-immigrant. So as much as I would like to welcome people to Revachol, that phrase has been co-opted by racist assholes. Alright. Stream is up and live. Presumably at some point. Right in the dick, Kono! Get him right in the dick! This game is high literature, and I appreciate it. Alright. Well, it's time to go meet some dock workers, since... God, every time that horn hits, and I get the feelings. Glossy Magazine, most able-bodied man. This issue hosts a top 10 list. Oh no, they're much hunkier than you. Jump Jams, a popular music mag. Well, let's start by talking to a xenophobic racist.
Welcome to Revachol,
announces the rotund man. The remark isn't addressed at you. It's addressed to the lieutenant. Why are you addressing my partner like that?
Don't you welcome to Revachol me. My grandfather came here from a 3,000-year-old racist isolationist culture, while your ancestors came to this island a mere 300 years ago. Every school of thought and government has failed in the city, but I love it nonetheless. It belongs to me as much as it belongs to you.
You tell him.
It's men like you who keep Revachol divided, making it that much harder for everyone to climb out of this post-war limbo.
Limbo? What's going on here?
Oh, come on, man. I just said welcome to Revachol. It's a lorry driver thing.
Your name is literally racist lorry driver, my friend.
I know exactly what you meant. You think my kind doesn't belong here, that I should watch myself and behave. But you see, I'm an officer of the RCM. It's actually my job to make sure you behave. I would advise you to remember that.
Silence. The air between them becomes tense. Your partner needs backup. Now's your moment to shine. Fucking A, Kim. I've got your back.
You two make a cute couple. You know that?
The lorryman spits. The lieutenant exhales and resumes his regular calmness. Now that that's settled, we have a couple of questions.
Whatever you say, officers.
He waits impassively, cigarette smoldering between his fingers. You could ask him to show you the soles of his boots. He definitely looks like someone capable of a lynching. Maybe he was present? Let me see the soles of your boots.
Been admiring the stompers, huh? Sure thing. Check them out.
He lifts his left foot, then the right. On the bottom of the man's boots, you see an intricate tangle of treads with no immediately discernible pattern. The wind howls over the Bay of Revachol, a cascade of cold air flowing through the city streets. Those same streets have left their share of scuff marks on the underside of your green snakeskin shoes. Is that a map of Revachol?
It sure is.
Where did you get boots like that?
Custom made. Cost me a pretty penny.
He rubs the back of his balding head.
for when the invasion comes. The last thing they'll see before the lights go out is illustrious Revachol.
It doesn't look like the lieutenant cares. He just makes a little note. What is this invasion anyway? Sounds like more immigrant bashing.
Hey man, you know, there are all sorts of invasions. I thought we could rely on the cops. We're in this together, whether you realize it or not.
I found this mug in the trash. Yours?
Oh man, that's great. Look at that guy go. Haven't seen anything that funny in a while.
Is it yours?
God damn. Thanks for that, but no, it's not mine.
What are you hauling?
Oh, not much anymore. I'm here to pick up some cargo, but the dock workers are on strike, so it's a sit and wait on your ass situation.
Wait, how long has this been going on then?
The strike? Oh, they've been at it for a while. A month, 2 months maybe. But this here is just the last week or so.
What kind of cargo are you supposed to pick up?
Apples.
Apples?
Yeah, apples. I take it you had other questions?
He's giving you the runaround. Let's be honest. You were bested. What was that argument all about?
It's about biological determinism, natural law, the sorting of the races.
He spits on the ground.
Not the most popular topic nowadays, with a coalition in charge and all. You might want to change the topic. That is, bury your head under the sand like common sheep.
Change the topic. The way he says it makes it almost sound like a threat. Oh, so you're just a racist. Makes sense.
I'm not just racist. Look, I've read books. The science of racial theory has all been proved, even if some people don't want to accept it. People who've studied these things say that you and me are superior by design. So, naturally, we Occidentals should be in charge. Obviously, you can see the merits in that.
Yes, I can really tell you're a prime example of superior design.
Open your eyes. Haven't you noticed something different lately? An unfortunate downturn, maybe? Huh? When members of the superior race cease to believe in their innate superiority, they stop competing for resources.
Yeah, what's the problem with that then?
The problem? The damn kips are showing a real good game lately. Same with the mosquitoes. And the other intruders species too. They're on the precipice of cultural victory.
Wait, what's this cultural victory?
It's what the kips of Boogie Street are going for, right under our noses. And the others too, on the radio. Heard any chansons lately? Heard any motetos or leader? No. Dominating culture is how they plan to win. They say so themselves.
Uh-huh.
It's true. Also, you need to realize the dangers of mixing races. Who knows what might happen if people don't stay in their birthplace? You might end up with a new sub-race, with unknown characteristics, leading to extra competition. That's why you've got to control the offspring.
Yeah, I'm not down with this. Why don't you go fuck yourself?
Don't push your luck, runt.
Damn, that felt good. Your heart's pounding nicely. You should tell people to fuck off more often. Kim, I think I should tell people to fuck off more often. It felt really good.
Not as a general rule, but that one was justified. Better to get the lay of the land before telling people to fuck off.
That means you should do it whenever you feel like someone's disrespecting your authority. Fuck yeah, motherfuckers. That's the spirit. Never forget, the whole world's a wooden house, and you're a goddamn flamethrower. Oh, is that magnesium? Hell yeah. Yes. I needed that. I might end up talking to Everett Clare today. And his chair will fucking kill me if I'm not careful. Going into Fritte. Pretty, pretty Fritte tonight. Alright. I could also buy that rain poncho, but...
Is this about the questions again? Because I don't really know anything.
Does Fritte have a warehouse in the back of the Whirling in Rags?
A warehouse? I don't know. Maybe. I don't really care what Frit does.
This is important. She scrunches up her face into an expression of consummate adolescent skepticism.
Fine. Frit doesn't have a warehouse. Just a little back room here. Okay?
She turns back to her magazine without waiting for you to respond. A colorful display of cigarettes and alcohol bottles lines the shop wall, inviting you closer. There, in that dark green glass, a world of ruby, all in vain. The great flowing river of warmth, wine alcohol, beer alcohol, love alcohol. This is not a good place for a recovering addict.
Guess not, no.
She looks at the wall of goods behind her, then adjusts her hat. Good thing you're an unrecovering alcoholic, then.
I'm obliged to inform you that both alcohol and cigarettes damage your health. But I guess you already know that.
Know this, you will never finish your alcohol quest if you don't buy beautiful alcohol. Leave. A small cabinet on the wall is filled with various medicine bottles, nasal sprays, and blister packs. They all bear the St. Baptiste Pharmaceutics logo.
Just ask me if you need anything from St. Baptiste. We don't stock prescription meds, but we do have Nosafed, Duramine, Magnesium, and Hypnogamma.
Ooh, Hypnogamma gives you +3 morale all at once.
Okay, here. I hope St. Baptiste makes you feel better or something.
Me too. Alright, that's enough magnesium in the system that we won't just, like, drop dead. Are we doing drugs this playthrough? We are not doing drugs this playthrough. I can't disappoint Kim that much. Kim's already mad at me. So I refuse to anger Kim more than I already have.
Scab?
Asks a man with jolly eyes, tilting his head. What did he just call you? A blank? Oh no, not this again. You just got away from that fucking kid. What exactly is a scab?
A kind of a worm, content with mere survival. They come, they want to do our job.
That is my hope, Nutley.
Screwing over both themselves and us.
I've got decent
Everybody
authority,
knows.
so... Hold on, where did all that come from?
Beats me. Somewhere in the ground, I think.
You don't seem to like them much.
Gotta be bloody stupid or freaking evil to Scab. Or I guess, scared maybe. But scared of what? Of who?
He looks at the mass, squinting his eyes as if trying to ascertain what they're scared of.
Personally, I'd rather beg than scab. If the gentleman shouting on the street came begging, maybe they'd have gotten something.
Have you tried talking to them?
We've explained the matters, but they don't listen. This lot would be reasonable and go home if the big guy wasn't riling them up all the time.
I'm not a scab, I'm a cop.
I was just messing with you. No one's ever seen a cop scab. Imagine, you cops going on a strike, but then another cop comes in and says, let us cop for less money.
He chuckles, then realizes.
Speaking of, what brings the RCM here? To the Wild North? Come to see the strife?
I'm looking for assistance with a dead body situation.
Body still hanging in the tree? Hey, that's a rough pickle. Can't help you with that, sorry. I'm not really an admirer of dead bodies. Might be someone else from the Union can render assistance.
Does that mean you can let me through the gate?
I don't operate in that capacity. I'm not a granter of passage. The passage grants itself.
That simple? I just walk in?
Aye. Walk right past Measurehead and go in.
Past Measurehead?
Yeah, the 2.5 meter tall Semini supremacist there. Walk right past him,
Right.
then press the button to unlock the door,
Aha.
then go past him again,
Okay.
and you enter the arbor through the office. Está.
Huh. For some reason, it doesn't seem like it's going to be that easy.
Don't worry, I'm sure it's not completely impossible. For example, you could best measure head in a physical confrontation, or you could convert to a Semini supremacist worldview. Or, Maybe it actually is completely impossible.
Has anyone ever bested him in a physical confrontation?
Not yet, no. He's incredibly strong.
Nothing a couple solid hooks from Dexter and Sinister wouldn't fix. Has any of the scabs tried converting to his worldview?
Jean-Luc himself would say the philosophy has proven overly heroic for the scabs to convert to. Not enough intuition.
I really hope we can spin kick him, yes. Got it. Another thing.
Sure.
I've come to Martinez investigating a murder.
Murder, huh? That sounds like a lot of hard work. You'd never see me investigating a murder.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
That's okay. I have no idea what I'm doing either. I don't even know what day it is. Don't tell me. It's a better day that way.
I'm a bit short on money right now. Can you give me some of it?
Sure thing, my friend. I can help you out.
He flips a coin towards you. Try to catch it. Bah! The coin narrowly slips by your outstretched fingers and falls to the ground.
Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to throw it like that. It's a thing we harbor folk do, passing around cargo and such. Was not meant as provocation or ridicule.
Lieutenant Kitsuragi picks up the coin and hands it to you. Appreciated.
Right, always glad to help out the RCM. We're on the same branch, you and I. Humans, I mean, not slithering scabs.
What's the strike about, anyway?
You know, serious business. I'm sure the big boss will be glad to tell you. You'll have to ask him first.
He's a chatty guy. Wants to talk about the strike. Return once you've met the union boss and are on a better footing with the organization. Nice talk. Gotta get moving. Alright, here we go. Measurehead time.
Nobody betrays your degeneracy.
Yeah, Measurehead. His body totally betrays his degeneracy.
The young woman at the giant's side agrees. Don't say anything. Size him up first.
Are you admiring my morphophysiology?
A ripple of muscle passes underneath his skin. He lets you look.
It must be frightening to stand in the shadow of this racial pinnacle. Be calm, Sandwich. You are not in danger because you are not a threat to me.
Puff out your chest, still say nothing.
What is this androgynous display of sexual maturity?
He looks down at you, taking stock of your physique. Things are not as bad as they look. Sure, you have high blood pressure from metabolizing heroic quantities of ethanol, but you are robustly built. You will survive.
I can see you were once an athlete, then deteriorated in your 20s. It is typical of your haplogroup. Let's blame the failed education system and leniency towards degenerates in your homeland.
Jean-Luc, his body is betraying his degeneracy pretty hard. Maybe you can ask him to leave.
What do you mean my body betrays my degeneracy? Oh, no, my body does not betray my degeneracy.
You have succumbed to Al-Ghul.
His face contorts in disgust, as if he were smelling a dead rat.
You reek of it. An invisible sword of Al-Ghul emerges from your throat. You cannot see it, but others can. It is making the woman in my company sick.
You're right, I'm an alcoholic, and I need that dead body to no longer be in the tree.
No, you don't. You need to get another drink. Occidental Haplogroup B4 is done giving orders around here. The influence of the ham sandwich race is waning.
Show him the ham still got it. I am the police, and I need you to comply now. Take a step closer.
Jerking motions, signs of a late-stage neurodegenerative disorder. How far the Occidental Haplogroup has fallen. You were once a noble and powerful race. You gave the world eugenics, electricity, and powerful weapons of war like missiles and aerostatic aircraft. You made great gains in metallurgy, race theory, and statecraft. You dominated lesser cultures, like the deformed Hemians and the inexplicably potato-obsessed Khoikos. But now your ascent to the genetic summit has halted. You are obsessed with sadness and with frivolous pop culture. You will be superseded. Isn't that right, babe?
It is, baby, yeah. You know it.
There's a button right behind him just out of reach. It must be the one that opens the door to the harbor. This man is not budging. Let's hope his superiors inside are more cooperative. Push him out of the way.
That is right. You should leave the stage of history with dignity by inviting the other races to a great world war. Bring your troops to the Seminine Islands and to Boogie Street, and we will pulverize you. When you are gone, we will build a museum for you. The walls will be lined with bottles of Al Ghul, your beloved beverage. Inside, we will store the odes to homosexuality you call art, and your microcephalic skulls.
This is your chance. He's talking. Rip into him with a punch and catch him off guard. No, don't rip into anyone. You're sensitive, remember? Communicate. Fuck, my suggestion is making this harder to do. Subscribe to Advanced Race Theory. Maybe I can knock him off his game a little bit.
Don't be vulgar. White or not has got little to do with this. The race enigma runs much deeper than that.
He turns his eyes towards the harbor, seemingly bored with you. There must be some friction there. He's keeping it well hidden, however. Yeah, but you still serve them. How does that factor into your life?
Mr. Clare is a man of vision and means. He has the will to confront polycultural capital, something your race, naivistic communists, never did. Also, to serve is noble. It takes discipline. Your petulant individualism has only contributed to your race failure. It is lax and moronic.
Communism is pretty cool.
Idiotic communism is the single greatest contributor to your race descent. Everywhere around you, the fruits of its failure to challenge the world order. Individualism, rock and roll music, sexually transmitted diseases. Above all, rampant multinational finance still reigning large. Tell me, where have you gotten your love of pathetic communism from? Degenerate youth culture? Rock and roll music?
I got it from disco, actually.
Offshoots of the Seminoles people invented disco while having sex under the influence of cocaine. It is a shame upon my race. But what is done is done. I am not surprised you enjoy it so much. This has happened to many of the side products of the inevitable cultural victory of the Seminoles race.
Okay, I'll ask. Who are the Seminoles?
The South Island race, haplogroup A4A. We are the rightful masters of the Insulindian archipelago. We descend from the Areopagites of ancient Pericarnassus and arrived here 4,000 years ago. Millennia before you. We are the future. That is all you need to know.
So you were born and raised on the islands before you moved to Revachol?
I am a descendant. The narrow streets of Elysium are with me in my genetic dreams. I see young Seminoles women walk into the grey mass on Ile de Fantôme, waiting on immaculate conception from the pale.
So you did not come from the islands.
No. I have heard about it on the radio.
So you're not really Seminoles, you're just from Revachol.
I'm from Couronne. And no, it is not just in Revachol. The city
I'm trying to
is
find
central to the
ways to shake him
Seminoles
up to maybe make that
strategy.
punch easier.
Spreading through its trade networks, our culture will dominate the world. You have heard enough about our phylogenetic secrets for today.
So far
You
not.
have extinction to come to terms with, and never getting that dead body down from the tree.
Fuck it, let's do it. God damn it. How did this happen? Your little fist is in his giant hand and he's squeezing it. It hurts.
You must be out of your mind, degenerate drunk. Say it. I am a degenerate alcoholic.
I'm a cop. Your fist cracks in his hand like a ripe apple. Pain shoots up into your brain as he's twisting it more and more.
The words to the song have changed. Say, I am a violent drunk.
No, I won't fucking say anything. Your hand twists in his grip and the pain blinds you. Still, you press the words out of your swollen mouth.
Good. Now leave before you humiliate your homoerotic organization any further.
Kim, what do you think about this?
I think this racist is better than the last. But the next racist will be the really good one.
How do you know there will be a next racist?
There always is.
Race is reality.
Know anything about this mug? This is your kind of thing?
Stop showing me your pathetic cup. I have no interest in it.
Does he strike you as the kind of man who puts mugs into trash? What are those tattoos of yours supposed to mean?
Racists are generally not very good examples of their race.
He gestures toward the lorryman down the street.
I am not like them. I am craniometric perfection.
Yeah, it's a white check.
I have taken the trouble to permanently draw a phrenologic grid on my skull and features. This should dispel any doubt.
True, that is a noble cranium, but you got a hard noggin yourself. You sure I'm not craniometrically superior to you?
You exhibit forward projection of the jaw, indicative of schizophrenia and sexual inaccountability. From a purely aesthetic standpoint, the dimple in your jaw makes you look like a baby. This is not craniometry, just an observation.
What else?
It is impossible to see any more of your bone structure. It is covered in the ravages of Al-Hul. From what remain of your features, I can see fleshy lips, baldness of the head, and long arms relative to lower limbs. This leads me to conclude you are not a police officer. You are a common criminal, an offspring of murderers and sailors from Sur-la-Clé and Vesper, and possibly even the degenerate sheep herders of Ubi.
Interesting. So one of my ancestors was Sir Leclerc and the other Vesper?
Your racial heritage is uninteresting. It is the same as all Revacholians. Your parents and their parents made the decision to reproduce while under the influence of Al-Hul. That is the only reason you are here.
He's right there. It's almost impossible to get it on unless you're both drunk. It's too scary when people are sober. All right, I guess we'll come
We
back.
still need to get into the harbor. We need help with the tree situation. There must be another way.
His gaze wanders over the whirling's roof to the yard. Hey, psst! Look around. Psst! Hey, you! Who? Me? Yes, you. Word on the street is you're ready to start building communism again. How come there's word on the street? You keep saying things like, down with the bourgeoisie, eat the rich, sodomize the landowners, impale all people who have more than 25 real in their pocket, literally murder all human beings regardless of their political beliefs, that kind of stuff. I've said some mildly left-wing things, but none of those. Oh yes, the mask of ambivalence. Don't deny it. You're about to rip it off and reveal the monstrous seven-eyed lamb of global communism that will devour and masticate mankind. Everyone can see that. So tell me, do you have any questions before we fire up the big communism builder? Or do we get right down to it? Wait, first, what's this communism even about? Failure. It's about failure. Failure? Yes, abject failure. Total, irreversible defeat on all fronts. Absolutely vanquished, beaten, curb-stomped, and pissed on. Until you came along. You will reverse the fortune of the workers of the world. You alone against every living thing, against every human alive. 800 trillion real in the hands of an impossibly well-organized ruling class. Towering city blocks of bank men who have the ears of prime ministers. Million-headed armies of nations and the love of your own mother. You against the atom, the charm and the spin. Where the whole world failed, matter failed to bend to human will. Human will failed to get out of bed and tie its laces. You alone, single-handedly, will rebuild the dreams of the working class. You are the last communist. Now get to work, comrade. Roll up your sleeves and start building communism. Oh yeah, get the firing squads and the animal wagons ready. Wait, what? Firing squads, you didn't say anything about those. Too late to back out now. You can't make an omelet without breaking a few million eggs. Roll your sleeves up further and breathe in the pristine air.
I'd appreciate it if you didn't force us into situations where I may have to shoot random civilians, because that won't get us anywhere. I'm not even sure the one bullet my chamber holds would even prick that hook.
Okay, I was trying to assert my dominance over him.
We are not here on some political quest. We are here to solve a crime. Don't make the situation any more volatile than it already is.
Can't promise that. I might attack him again. The lieutenant groans, but doesn't say anything. That's right, you should do it again. It's the last thing he'll be expecting. Notice, in case of a strike, press button behind guard. Hermetically sealed door, locked by electronic means. There's no lock picking or door kicking this one. I am going to sequence break a little bit because it's getting late in the day, and I know an easy way to get my money for Gart. Ooh, what's that? The book says you must attain a Franco-Nigerian hard body at the nearest gym. A lonely cormorant surveys the sea, indifferent to your approach. Let's go talk to the woman who has all the answers. Your room in the Whirling isn't much bigger than this sloop. This is worth more than you will ever earn in all your life. A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach. Her green raincoat glistens with droplets. A silk scarf is tied around her throat.
Good afternoon, officers. I'm Joyce.
She extends her hand in greeting.
Joyce L. Messier, I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbor. You gentlemen must be from the RCM.
She steps closer and holds out her hand over the railing. Joyce L., what does the L stand for?
Beaton, my maiden name.
Her bony hand dangles from the sleeve of her oversized raincoat. What gave us away?
Nothing, honestly. I've said it to every drunk in town, and you're the first one who's responded.
What is implied here? That you're a drunk? Shake her hand.
I'm glad to see you here.
Her grip is tight and cold.
I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will. Gladly.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode. Very unusual. But I can assure you of his ultimate competency.
There's a trace of irony in his voice. Mischief, even. The lieutenant is hatching some scheme.
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group.
You seem rich. Can I have some money? It's what you want to say. But it isn't that easy, is it? Well, wait. Why not? Look at that lady. Take a gander. Squint your eyes, bub. What nice fabrics. Why, yes, tucked away under the sturdy green raincoat, almost rustic in its simplicity, a silk shirt and matching scarf around her gentle throat. While dull orange pearls hang from her earlobes, red from cold. Her light green eyes scan you full of knowledge and worry, wealth and all its possibilities. Yeah, so? Now look at you, you misery-clad simian, barely able to tie your own laces. Your armpits are lakes. A scythe of booze precedes you. Your hair sticks to your forehead, and your underwear feels uncomfortable. You're poor. Poor as balls. You can't ask this person for money. You're too... I'm not ashamed. Oh, but you are. Too ashamed to ask this person for money, too scared to belittle yourself in her eyes. Those half-precious stones of Danil. Oh God, the lieutenant is here too. Do not dishonor the force.
As I was saying, if there's any way I may be of assistance, please don't hesitate to ask.
Say it. Can I have some money? Voila, you're doing it. Really put your back into it. Yell it from the top of your lungs. You seem rich. Fuck. Money!
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. The wind is a bit strong. Could you repeat that?
I need money!
How much money?
I need 100 real.
That's a good sum. Not too small, not fantastically large.
She reaches into her raincoat and pulls out a zip bag. In it, you see paper notes arranged like black gills. She removes a few notes and hands them to you. The paper is cold and oily to the touch.
So, I hope I didn't just bribe you, officer. It may not be technically illegal under the Emergency Act, but still.
I'm still getting my head around this whole money concept. You were just helping me out. I am resisting the urge to go Honor Cop, even though Honor Cop is also fucking amazing. Should I do Honor Cop? Honor Cop is so funny if you can get it to go, but I'll have to do some, like, shitty stuff. Oh, this is a conundrum. I think I have to try for it, because the honor salute is very good. I am an honorable policeman, one of the few good men in Revachol.
You're right, man, that donations are permitted under the Emergency Act, unseemly as it may be, as long as they are properly logged with the precinct.
Which he most certainly will do. Now, how else can I help the RCM today, besides supplementing its salaries?
You're on a boat!
Why, yes I am.
She looks at the deck under her feet. Green and white sails flutter overhead. Not a lot of people on boats, are there?
Of course there are. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around?
Wait, we're on an archipelago?
Yes, we are. We are on Le Caillou.
Caillou? I thought we were in Revachol.
We are. And the city of Revachol is on the island of Le Caillou.
Still, I haven't seen anyone else sail a boat around here.
I haven't seen anyone else drive a souped-up Capri Kenema motor carriage either.
Actually, that motor carriage has been specially issued to serve as a patrol and pursuit vehicle. It's for crossing long distances in the greater Revachol industrial harbor. It's not a toy.
Neither is this.
Someone
A toy,
poked
I
Kim's
mean.
car.
It's a machine for crossing long distances in the Bay of Revachol, between the city and the islands.
She's having a good time arguing against the law. Too good, perhaps? Do you have a license for this boat?
Officer, I assure you I'm a highly qualified pleasure craft operator.
The crowns of her teeth are porcelain, white as the boat's hull as she smiles. Qualified pleasure craft operator, so charming. Where's the damn license? Can I see your license?
I just renewed its safety inspection last month, officers. It is completely seaworthy. In fact, it's taken part in not one, but two insulindic regattas. Even finished once.
What happened the other time?
The other time, I would have finished the race were it not for an urgent work matter, much like the one I'm on now.
Still need to see a license, ma'am.
Actually, you don't.
What do you mean?
The Wayfarer Act specifically denies the RCM the authority to demand anyone's operator license. It's a little-known fact among us law officials.
So we can't pull over random civilians and demand their papers? That's weak. Wait, makes sense, I guess. I mean, look at me.
No need to resort to self-pity, detective. You can still ask for her passport.
You need to save face if you want her respect. Demand that passport! Yes, I'm going to need to see your passport.
Of course.
She searches the pockets of her raincoat, producing a bundle of documents in a sealed plastic bag. Look at her passport. The woman is silent, smiling while the waves lap against the hull. In your hand, under the plastic, a light blue passport saying Republic of Vesper. The coat of arms has a lion and an ostrich, Sajan's. Look at the photo page. The woman, born in the year 3 in the commune of Revachol, smiles at you, face adorned with frown lines and crow's feet. The photo is recent. The name reads, Rejoice Leighton Messier. Your name is Rejoice?
Yes. But please don't call me that.
Why?
Joyce is much more efficient.
She doesn't like it. Probably a bad memory. Mean girls at school or some ancient lover. You're from Vesper?
My husband is. I have dual citizenship. A Vespertine is handier when traveling.
Everything appears to be in order. She nods and returns the plastic bag to her coat. Does she have a name?
The boat? No. It is called Cordelati 19 because that's the type of sloop it is.
The word "it" feels strange. Such a beautiful boat deserves a proper name. A breeze ripples through the sails and tugs at your hair. Below, the sleek, fish-like shape of the hull parts the water. Beneath that, a resounding darkness. You're reminded of something, or someone. Cool, but your boat really needs a name.
Okay. How about Cordelati 19? Why?
She taps on the side of the boat. It makes a hollow sound.
Because it was manufactured in Revachol East by a company called Cordelati, and its hull is 19 paces long.
Decent chance that this is gonna hit my morale. How about Dolores?
Why Dolores?
Because it stings in an ancient and beautiful way. I just like the name for some reason.
Well, it means nothing to me. I think I'll stick with the factory name. But thank you for the suggestion.
Okay, but what kind of boat is it?
It's a pleasure craft. A 19 pacer. It also happens to be rated for Category 1 racing. Though these days I mainly use it for business.
How do you like it?
My sloop? I like it a lot. It's the eel's hips, baby.
I'm enjoying this part of the interview. It has so little to do with the murder we're investigating.
I really do, the lieutenant thinks. Is she thrown off yet? He's looking at the woman, assessing her. I think I have a handle on the boat thing.
Good.
Tell me about Wild Pines. What do you do?
What we do. I'm afraid I don't speak for Wild Pines as a
Joyce
whole.
is such a good character.
It's a giant undertaking.
So what do they do?
The Pines' core competency is logistics. Container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. See those airships there, blinking? Those are the shipping side of things. And that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil and gas exploration, offshore platforms.
How much money does Wild Pines have?
I'm not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheet, but I can tell you that last year, the company
Puppy, I'm
booked
sorry you're
more
having a
than
bad day.
20 billion real in revenue.
Billion? What exactly is a billion?
It's a number, officer. A big one.
That really sucks, Puppy. I'm sorry. That is shitty. Hopefully your insurance will help. I don't know how car insurance works in Australia. What is it made of?
It's made of 1,000 millions. A million is made of 1,000 thousands.
Wow.
20 billion is a large number, but the conglomerate employs 72,000 people. They all need to be paid. Then there are capital improvements, interest payments.
A wave hits the sloop. A wave hoots the sloop. She grasps the mainstay for balance.
A conglomerate the size of the Wild Pines is like a shark. If it stops moving, it will die. Then what becomes of those 72,000 families? It's a tremendous responsibility.
Where does Wild Pines get all these billions?
They started as an exploration and cargo fleet conducting trade between the Samaran and Insulindian Isolas 250 years ago, when Pine ships explored the South Seminese and charted Lomantang on behalf of the suzerain. Centuries of care, deliberation, and madness have gone into this endeavor. Vessels pass through the great unrest to re-emerge with apricots in tow. The logic of the system is totalizing. It's taken everything from its employees to build it.
What does such a huge system want with a place like this?
You mean aside from being the terminal's legal owners, who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo?
You don't keep it moving. The workers do. The company is nothing without them.
We built this district. All the best parts of it. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, with its bastions. The plazas Meteor and Mosaic. Even some of the old street lamps have been put back thanks to the investments from the WP.
She points behind you where the seawall rises.
Before Martinez was swallowed by the industrial harbour, even before it was part of Revachol, long before Terminal B was erected here, the Pines built it as a resort for its Revacholian employees. A company getaway, for a weekend or a summer holiday. Then came the revolution. But that's another matter. I'm here to make sure the Pines can fulfill their responsibilities to the place they built.
With your help, hopefully, says her warm tone. What can you tell me about this strike?
Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets.
Well, wait, what if I want to hear about trade secrets?
First, you'd have to repeal the Emergencies Act of Trade and Aliments. That gives me the right to silence. It's quite the octopus.
Well, how do I repeal it then?
Why? By throwing off half a century of foreign domination under the Coalition. Unfortunately for you, the Coalition also leases you the right to police West Revachol. But I am derailing us. You wanted to know about the strike.
What is your role in this precisely?
I believe the official title is Senior Labor Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines' counteroffer.
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago, after that awful lynching took place. Now they won't even let me into the harbor. There's a 2-meter 20 racist behemoth blocking the gates.
Oh, you mean Measurehead.
Yes, Jean-Luc Measurehead.
She leans back and rolls her eyes. How were the talks going before the lynching?
Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
And when did you first arrive?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site, like the RCM.
But the strike began in December.
He looks at his notes.
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont despite concessions he'd granted the union in prior negotiations.
This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike.
Heavens no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their demands are more I guess you could say, aggressive.
What happened to this Gaumont?
Mr. Clare told him to... How did he put it?
She pauses to compose herself.
Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see.
Not cool.
Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him and the Union.
Sounds like usual aggressive posturing. What are their demands?
There are leaflets everywhere, and banners. What did they say again? Oh yes, every worker, a member of the board.
I like it.
Then you might also like their other slogan. Demand democracy.
Not hard communist enough for me.
Personally, I agree. It lacks the pizzazzo of every worker a member of the board.
What exactly do they mean by it, though? What's the demand?
It's quite simple, you see. Every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision, about what? About anything really, it needs the signature of each of the 2,200 workers in its Martinez terminal. Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of Wild Pines Group.
The king is dead. Long live the workers.
That may well be. It's not up to me to decide who is king, but as negotiations go, it's not a swell start.
What are you going to do?
I'm not sure. Naturally, I assume that was just their opening position, a hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up, just the same nonsensical slogan repeated over and over again. And now, people are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rags. A disastrous situation if there ever was one.
Excuse me, from whom did you hear about this lynching?
I first heard it from the boyar at the gates. The one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was, "Call me mañana."
The scabs at the gate. Did you put them there?
The scabs? You mean the huddled masses of Jamrock, come to plead for work where the Union refuses to? If they were organized by Wild Pines or its affiliates, then it would be a company secret. I could not share it with you. Not right now, at least.
Tell me about this union boss, Mr. Clare.
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always puts the interests of the workers first.
Really?
Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood.
Is he that bad?
He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother, Edgar.
Wait, there are two of him?
Yes. Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does, and when one's term as foreman is up, the other takes over. It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues.
What about the union itself, outside the Brothers Clare?
The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the Emergency Act, but they did it. I can respect that. Organized labor at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The Brothers Clare came and transformed it into a... how do you say?
She hesitates, looking for the right expression.
A mob. The Débardeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, I suspect we'll be forced to cooperate with them.
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our concessions have only emboldened Everard and his brother.
She turns to you.
And your opinion, detective? If I may ask. I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Débardeurs Union is...
An effective advocate for the rights of local workingmen.
Why do you think so?
They're good labor men. Can't fault them for a little corruption.
Ha! A real man of the left. What else can I tell you about?
Oh, one more thing. You said something happened in the elections?
I'm glad you asked. There was a woman, the previous forewoman of the Union. She disappeared.
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, Her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore. Or coming to work. Ever. End of story.
Eerie.
Downright haunting, if you ask me. The Wild Pines suspected foul play, but what could they do? It was a union matter. The point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing with him.
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
That's all I need here. Let's change the topic.
Of course. How else can I help?
What can you tell me about this lynching?
Quite a few things, I'm afraid.
She falls silent for a moment, contemplating something.
The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Lieutenant Kitsuragi from Precinct 57, and this is my colleague from Precinct 41. I'm afraid he doesn't have his badge at the moment. I hope mine will suffice.
No, puppy, I, Measurehead kicked my ass earlier, so we have not gotten into the docks yet.
How curious. Why is that, Detective?
Awkwardness washes over the conversation. The woman doesn't like this turn of events. Remember when my partner told you I'd recently suffered from an unusual medical episode? My lost badge is related to it.
I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode?
It's possible. After a night of heavy drinking, I lost all memory of my life and the world.
Oh dear. I suppose this does explain some of the more curious turns in our conversation.
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional, but he is an officer of the RCM.
Of course, I sympathize, but I'm afraid I simply can't share anything more until I've seen that badge.
Hang on, she's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement. What kind of arrangement would it be? I mean, favors for favors. A dirty alliance of some sort. How do I negotiate my way out of this? Easy. Just offer her a favor, like I said. Nice and dirty. Surely there's some other way to demonstrate our law enforcement credentials.
I will be frank with you. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify it to my superiors. They're going to want to see something very tangible.
You're in, but expect her to drive a hard bargain. Like what?
Reports from inside Terminal B suggest it's a hub for the local drug trade. This is an open secret in Martinez. The Union controls the terminal, so it goes to reason. The company has tried looking into this matter before, to no avail. Perhaps someone with your authority and resources might turn over the right stones. Or you can recover your badge. Though if I may be blunt with you, it sounds like that may be a lost cause.
Detective, a word in private before we continue.
Excuse us for a moment, madam.
This is not going quite as I hoped it would, Detective.
How did you hope it would go?
Honestly, I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance, and not volunteer us to be her henchmen.
Oh, so we're henchmen now?
This woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along, or she's simply an adept improviser. Either way, we've played straight into her hands.
He doesn't let it show, but there's a limit to how much the consequences of your unprofessional behavior can cost the investigation. We could just, find my badge.
Oh, that would be fantastic, but do we have the time? The world is large and your badge is 8 by 6 centimeters. You could request a new one from your station, but that would literally take months.
What do you propose, that we don't investigate the drug trafficking?
No. If there is reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. Otherwise, she could claim we are siding with the Union, or that we are on their take. We'd never hear the end of it. What I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate, briefly. But do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done and demand for her information on the lynching.
Let's get back to her then.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Okay, tell me about this alleged drug trafficking.
It's quite straightforward. Someone is using Terminal B to smuggle raw ingredients from the Samaran Isla into Revachol with the Union's blessing. Wild Pines has suspected it for years.
Ingredients for what, ma'am?
Meth and dextroamphetamine, GBL and various synthetic psychedelics. Honestly, it might be quicker to say what you can't make from the stuff.
Shit, yeah, baby, it's the party pipeline. Why would you want to shut that down? I am feeling better. Puppy, thank you for asking. It's been a week since I had, like, my really bad day, and I feel perfectly fine. Let me get this straight. The materials come from Samara to Revachol through the terminal?
Yes. After they clear the terminal, we lose track. The actual production is taking place at various sites in and around Jamrock Quarter, north of here.
While Pine seems to be well apprised of the local drug trade, man. Do you mean to say the Union also produces the product? Sells drugs, I mean?
We're in logistics. It's our business to know. And no. As far as the company knows, the Union does not produce it. They transport the ingredients for a cut.
Why are you trying to shut down the party pipeline?
I assure you, officer, these are not the sort of parties you'd want to attend.
She has no idea what kind of parties you've been to. And you want us to investigate?
Yes, but you won't get anything out of Evrat and the Dockworkers Union. Still, every chain has its weak link.
What do you mean?
The lorries. Someone needs to move the ingredients from the harbor into the city. Once they reach Jamrock, they're distributed to a network of local manufacturers, well beyond our grasp. But in transit, they are vulnerable. Perhaps you've noticed that a number of lorries are tangled in a traffic jam at the roundabout just now. Interview the drivers who are still hanging about. One of them might be waiting for a crucial shipment.
She gives you a knowing look.
I'll be explicit. If you find this driver, I will share company secrets with you.
Why didn't she come to the RCM earlier?
We did. On more than one occasion. Apparently, there's some sort of inter-precinct disagreement about whose jurisdiction this area falls under.
We know the company has launched its own probe into the Union's alleged involvement. We also know it's come up empty. It's not just the RCM. No one's been able to find any hard evidence.
Well, here's your chance, officers.
It's no coincidence the lorries are stranded there like that, is it?
No. We asked East Motor Track to raise the drawbridge. The road company is a partner of one of our subsidiaries. However...
She pauses, looking to the sea.
This is a limited time opportunity.
Oh, it's that
Once
time.
the complaint has been processed by the Trade Committee, they'll have no choice but to lower the drawbridge, and the operation will continue.
She looks north.
Thousands of liters of raw ingredients will pour onto the streets of Revachol. Not the east across the river, but the west. The vulnerable. The weary.
A cold breath rushes in from the bay, making its way down the alleyways and potholed streets, from Martinez to Jamrock. In the traffic, you hear the clinking of glass vials concealed beneath tarpaulin. Or is it just tarpaulin? Or is it just your teeth chattering in the cold? Fucking misery.
A lot of it. It comes in from large Samaran factories in South Safre, Sigai, and Sinyao. The literage they must get from this terminal alone must be oceanic.
Well, at least this solves one mystery.
What is that, Lieutenant?
Why I had to call East Motor Track and beg them to open a drawbridge for me. I'd wondered since I first drove in, on my motor carriage.
I am sorry for the inconvenience, Lieutenant Kisaragi, but we need them trapped here. This is a unique opportunity. I'm sure you understand.
What proof do you have that the Union is involved?
How do you think they're financing this strike? There are thousands of unpaid dock workers going strong for the 4th month straight.
There was a shakedown of local businesses preceding the strike. Many were squeezed to bankruptcy to fund it.
With all due respect to these desert cacti, the contents of a few cash registers cannot provide for 2,000 men. The local businesses can scarcely provide for themselves.
So you think the strike is being funded with source ingredients for drugs?
Precisely. Smuggled out of that very gate at night, most likely, then loaded onto lorries and driven to Jamrock. You simply need to find one driver who will open up to you.
Okay, I've made up my mind about the smuggling investigation.
Yes?
We'll take the case, probe the driver, see what it yields.
Excellent. According to my reports, there are at least 3 lorry drivers lingering near the roundabout. Hopefully one of them will know something. It may come to nothing, or it may just blow the case wide open. I can keep the drawbridge up for a few more days at least. You should have the time you need. In the meantime, let me know if there's any other way I may be of assistance.
She takes another long sip from her seemingly bottomless thermal cup. Do you know something about these tattoos?
That's the man who was killed. I'm afraid this is a discussion for once we've cleared the lynching question.
So you know something about the tattoos.
Better not tie the fourth day to the bat's day on this. I hope there is something else I can help you with.
She wants to answer the question. Protocol keeps her from it. You seem smart. I need someone to give me a lowdown on this reality we're in.
This reality?
It's related to that medical episode. I have trouble remembering even the most basic terms of reality.
Ah, yes. The episode. Sounds like an acute case of encephalopathy, now that I think of it.
She puts down her thermal cup and looks at you.
Don't be phased, madame. He functions perfectly well. He only needs a lowdown on all of reality.
We may be here a while then. Ask away, officer. I'll help however I can.
All right, we're in. I know these all look good, but begin with the first, okay?
We're in Martinez, baby.
Baby?
A casual term of endearment popular among the 50-plus crowd. It's a disco holdover, pay it no heed.
I'm a disco holdover myself.
Aren't we all?
Mm-hmm. And what is Martinez?
Martinez is a district of Revachol. A very small district tucked away near the industrial harbour, north of the 881 and Jamrock. You would be excused for not knowing about it. Unimportant, they say. Forgotten, even. Shelled to smithereens during the Revolution. It has its charms, just not this time of year.
Tell me more about Martinez.
I'm not a good ambassador. I've only been here once before, as a teenager. Not a lot has changed. There are ruins, a terminal, fishing boats, reeds, boys with boxy shoulders. As I told you, Martinez used to be a province, a workers' resort before the city swallowed it and the artillery did its part. Now the reeds are the real star of the show here. The further down the coast, the wilder it gets.
You mentioned a sea. What sea is this?
It's not really a sea, it's the Bay of Revachol. And the bay feeds into the ocean.
Are we near the ocean?
Yes. We're on an island in an ocean. The world's largest body of water. The Insulindic.
Vast, lukewarm, and unknowable. Flowing in and out of sight. What's the name of this island?
Caillou, as you already know. Imagine a pebble. A smoothed-over pebble amidst a great blue sea. Misshapen, cracked. The cracks are the River Esperance. We're in the delta of this river, on the 6th branch, the Martinez distributary.
It is clear this pebble is of enormous value to her. Tell me about another, perhaps even more fundamental aspect of reality.
I would be happy to. What is a preposterously expensive education for, if not sharing?
What times are these?
These are unimportant times, Detective. You and I were born after the dust had settled. 1,000th of a second too late.
Too late for what?
For the big time.
Her eyes light up. There's a flash of teeth. The smile of a predator. No doubt what she's got in mind. You've got a predatory streak.
All men are predators, dear. Nothing much to be done about that. It's all a matter of where you get to file your teeth.
What's the big time?
The revolution.
Huh. And what is this revolution I keep hearing about?
It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next, who gets shot in the head, and who gets the mineral rights. It's a real kerfuffle.
Would you say it was a bunch of apes duking it out?
Why, of course. We're talking Duke Out Central. Full swing intraspecies warfare.
And the apes, were they evil?
No. I would say the apes were neutral.
Sounds like evil to me.
On the other hand, maybe you're right.
Who got shot in the head?
Those would be the communists. Generally speaking, 40 million people got shot in the head during the World Revolution. But the communists, they all got shot in the head. Oh, And the anarchists, too. They shot them well. So well, one forgets they even existed.
Did the communists and the anarchists shoot back?
Did they ever? Before they got shot themselves, they shot 2 million people.
Truly a kerfuffle.
Yeah, it was a kerfuffle, all right.
Yes. The Insulindian deluge, they call it.
I had a deluge too, in my head.
Yes. An acute thiamine deficiency can be exacerbated by alcoholism. Exacerbated means made worse.
Anyone else get shot in the head on the opposing side?
Oh, lots of people. Even the king got shot in the head, or thrown beneath a horse, or drowned. Accounts differ. It was unceremonious. Just as well, he wasn't actually the king. Just the king's nephew. The real king abdicated and lived out a long and productive life as a venture capitalist in Grad.
Smart king.
Yes. King Guillaume had a nose for bad PR. He ran before it. What is the expression? Went down? Anyway, Gil got out alive and his nephew Fricelle got shot in his place. Him and tens of thousands of his wonderfully fascist kingsmen. It was a wild time.
Who got the mineral rights?
The liberals got the mineral rights. And by mineral rights, I mean everything.
Okay, and by liberals you mean...
Liberals are usually middle-class people, Detective. Or the remaining gentry. The beneficiaries of the pre-revolutionary arrangement. Some were rich enough to stay with the Constitution, with monarchy. Big mistake. Others bet on the revolution. They were called the ultras, or ultra-liberals. They fared well.
How did the liberals win it all?
They didn't win so much as survive. We were the last ones standing when the war ended. Everyone else got shot in the head, remember?
If everyone got shot, who was there to surrender to?
To foreign intervention. The coalition. Those people really took the mineral rights.
Wait, you just said the liberals already took everything.
The liberals took everything that wasn't nailed to the ground. The coalition took the ground. The ocean, the laws, and the people.
Who are the coalition?
The coalition of nations. Grad, Mesk, Vesper, Messina, Oranje, and Sur-la-Clay. The armed center of the world. They landed here and ended the revolution. It was the moralist thing to do.
There is bitterness in her voice, tempered with understanding. She is critical, but ultimately understands the cause. Moralist?
The moralists believe in keeping everything exactly the way it is. They believe in mineral rights, and not shooting people in the head. At least not in the same manner and volume as the others do. They are the long-standing provisional rulers of Revachol now, the coalition government.
The rulers of Revachol, and also the world. These guys are strong.
This is their zone of control. They embolden the RCM with crumbs of the same law they took. Technically speaking, you are a moralist.
I don't think I am moralist, ma'am.
Of course. Not easy to be moderate about head shooting in your line of work.
When was this kerfuffle?
The turn of the century revolution? Don't answer it. It's a trick question. The revolution began in '02 on the Isla of Grad, though by the end, nearly the whole world had gotten involved. It wasn't a
Who started it?
but a what? A pandemic of Zarat, a particularly virulent prion disease, which the authorities in Grad proved unable to contain. Then Mazov came along and overthrew the government.
What did this Zaroff do?
It made people overthrow their governments.
No way.
Indeed. Zarat is a highly infectious microorganism that destroyed brain tissue. The actual causes of the revolution were material. The pandemic only provided the spark.
Where did it spread from there?
From Revachol and Grad? Not far. The world managed to cauterize itself. Mazov's government was overthrown in '08, and the coalition crushed the Revachol commune 2 years later. It was the end.
What came next?
Why? You and I, officer. Our lives in the zone of control.
Something tells you her life and yours are not that similar. Maybe it's because she has a boat and you have that necktie, a pair of pants. Our lives are very different from each other.
No doubt. But we share the same time and position on the planet's crust. That counts for more than you think.
What is the zone of control?
A city-state divided into free market zones under the everlasting interregnum of the Coalition of Nations. And you, of course, the citizens' militia.
The clatter of typewriter keys fills the main hall of a reappropriated silk mill, Precinct 41. Chad Tilbrook presses enter. Outside, Officer Elfboy Williams slams the door of an armored motor carriage.
The zone of control is the third incarnation of Revachol, after the failure of the suzerain and the commune.
What happened in the rest of the world?
Modernity. They developed the marvels of the inter-eastlery communication. Telematic milieus, radiation, colored plastics. Meanwhile, in Revachol West, the aftermath continues for the 5th decade.
It's been like this for how long exactly?
43 years. Hard to fathom, I know.
What have we been doing all that time?
The 20s saw a decade of urban war, west of the river leveled, offshore platforms in flames. Still, it's regarded as an improvement on what came before. 08 to 19 was simply hell.
And after that?
The 30s? Things settled down in the 30s. Revachol East transformed itself into the world's largest tax haven, with the international community's blessing. For the first time in a long time, it seemed like things were going somewhere.
Were they?
No. It was a market mirage fueled by cocaine and quantitative easing. The 40s dispelled it like a cold splash, an Isla-wide hangover, you might say. And here we are. Welcome to reality, baby.
New skill point. What would you have done differently?
Good question. What would you have done differently?
I asked you, who are you in all this?
And I asked you, past-less detective of the Citizens Militia, what insight has acute encephalopathy given to you?
Here's some wisdom, lady. Say the death thing. I would have killed more. 400 million if that's what it took. The cold runs down your spine as you say the words, like a small electric charge that seeks grounding.
I see. A tenth of humanity. The key of history is in the lock. Keep turning at any cost.
Fuck. At any cost until humanity is free and the age of capital is past. The wind stops, and for a moment there's silence. The cold dissipates into your parietal lobe like a dissolved bullet. All is quiet on the Martinez Inlet. Capital is past.
Past? That's what de Briever, the leader of the Communards, said, before she got a bullet in her head. Don't get me wrong.
There's sadness in her voice.
Capital is finished. But understand this. Its end won't free anyone. It will only lead to more suffering.
Opinions expressed here do not reflect the official position of the RCM.
And what is your official position, Lieutenant?
My position, ma'am? My parents got ripped to shreds in the revolution. I would have gone the same way. I was saved by being 2 years old. That's my position. The abattoir.
It's so good. The writing in this game is so fucking good.
Understandable.
That's enough about the times. It's interesting. The first time I played this game in 2019, I knew jack shit about basically all of European history, and specifically the history of the revolutions throughout the late 1700s, mid 1800s. It's interesting to have a much better grasp now of how a lot of this is 1848 being kind of dealt with. If Karl Marx had basically
They are what they are.
taking control,
And
actually managed to
come.
get out in the streets and win something.
Anyway, enough sentimentality. Is there anything else you want to know?
What is this acute but
It's a neurological disorder caused by a lack of vitamin B in the brain. Symptoms include a retrograde amnesia. It's quite serious. You should get yourself checked out.
She conveys it in short, cold bursts, trying not to invest too deeply in the condition of this doomed detective. What causes encephalopathy?
Well, it's either bariatric surgery or long-term alcohol use.
It's definitely the drinking. She nods slowly. What this boils down to is this reality thing is stupid. Blow this joint, grab a bottle, and drain that shit right down your throat.
Yes, and perform autoerotic asphyxiation on yourself with your funny necktie out in the open somewhere.
I have somewhere to party right now. Wipe that urge from your mind and get back to reality. All right, we'll take a shot at these. It remains a mystery what you mean by this something close. This isn't about you. It's about reality. I want to know who you are. She won't maneuver her way out of this one. What are you?
I am the vilest of the vile. A traitor. A devourer of nations and infants.
I think you just need... Yeah, Lamppost, I think it's... This is the first time I never got the necktie. I don't think I ever pulled it down in my first playthrough. So this is new for me, too. I think you have to have a high inland empire when you get it down.
I am an ultra.
It's sharp. Dios mío!
Yes. I am the nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp. I pushed the king under a shit wagon and betrayed the revolution. My kind surrendered the nation to financial colonists. I can see you thought we'd gone extinct. After all, no sane person identifies as an ultra-liberal anymore. Not in broad daylight. You're a man of the left, no? Tell me, now that I've uncoiled myself, are you repulsed?
In her green eyes, you see a mixture of truth and self-satire, decades of guilt and pride. I forgive you, but only because you're charming.
A devil, who being of great charm and guile, sneaketh into the homes of the godly.
Beneath her waterproof raincoat and silk shirt is a body imbibed in Num 12 perfume. You are suddenly and intimately aware of it. I can't. Vile devil.
I hope we're able to continue as friends, despite my deeply felt need to infiltrate and betray the revolution, and then ensnare you to financial service. Honestly, I may have even preferred it, had the communards won. Who knows? They might really have built something better. But they didn't. Because they lost.
This is the only game that lets you be like fucking Dale Cooper and Beavis and Butthead.
When the dust settled, the Liberals were the only ones left to clean up the mess. By virtue of their survival, they were handed enormous power to shape the future. This was all our last generation managed.
Would you have done something differently?
With due respect to our overlords, the eternal caretaker government that keeps Martinez a monument to the efficacy of its artillery.
While a gentle wind sweeps the streets in the rebuilt east, light drizzle washing it clean. Lights go up and motor carriages circulate the tracts.
I would not have relinquished sovereignty to the Coalition. Not here in Martinez, and not in the Stella Maris or Delta Beachheads either. If not for my own sake, then for my daughters. We had an obligation to defend our sovereignty. We should have burned the whole Isla down rather than let them have it.
Dark orange flames reflect in her green eyes, an oil fire on the ocean. You're a patriot?
Yes, I suppose I am. But I wouldn't be a patriot anywhere but here.
Seditious talk, man.
The lieutenant puts down his notes and gives her a look. You're a smart woman.
Perhaps. My intellectual vanity will be my undoing.
You have daughters?
Yes. Whatever else I am, I'm also a mother. And a wife. Now, shall we return to reality?
What is this?
A bird? A sphenicid? A flightless bird of the polar regions?
Keep guessing?
Some sort of krill hunter? No, wait. You're an ancient ruin. A symbol of hubris and decay. Half submerged in some salty sea.
Are you saying I'm ruined?
Of course you're not, my dear. I'm just terrible at guessing games.
I meant, what is this place here?
Ah. This is the pier of Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A, where the tenants have been kind enough to rent me a slot. Or two.
What is Rue de Saint-Ghislain 33A?
A pre-revolutionary tenement. Old buildings are called tenements, you see. And new buildings, bâtiments. After, les bâtiments nouveaux. But 33A and 33B are not nouveaux. They're old.
She looks up at the crumbling facade.
This one used to be 8 to 10 stories tall. A real high-rise by the standards of the last century. Built to mirror the skyscrapers across the bay in the Delta. That was before the war, of course.
Who lived in them?
Mostly the urban middle class, I believe. This was once primo real estate, before the cannons lopped 4 or 5 stories off.
Splat, splat.
Oh, fuck yeah, Cindy. From a dilapidated balcony, a young girl in odd clothes gives Joyce the evil eye, a red paintbrush held to her throat.
Wonderful.
What is that? Point to Cindy the skull.
The girl in the old lady rags.
Yes.
Looks like a sullen and rebellious member of a teen infraculture.
Infraculture? Alright. Puppy, I'm so sorry that happened to you. I hope it all works out.
Yes, you and I belong to the supraculture. We're common, the herd. The music on the radio, the food in the chain restaurant, those are all too popular for the girl in the old lady rags. She prefers a fantasy world, an infraculture with its own dress code and vernacular. It is an illusion, I'm afraid. There is no refuge from the supraculture.
Okay. Now explain the same thing, but to a child.
Young people who dye their hair funny colors and wear old people's clothes are stupid, and their little rebellion is self-defeating. All right. What next?
I mean, we'll take a shot at this. You never know, right? A strange coldness comes over you as you look at the world. The waves sway the sloop slowly. That's all. That's all for now.
Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know. Anything else?
Thank you. That's all for now.
Of course, Detective. Take care.
I just realized... okay, no, I'm still running through Cop of the Apocalypse. Okay. That's an all-day one. We are absolutely going to level up Physical Instrument so that we can retry... I have 2 skill points I'm sitting on. We'll try it twice. The belly of this boat shines like it was recently painted. Docking reserved for residents of Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A.
The streets will flow red once more. A great torrent rushing down Rue de Esperance. You wait and see.
The girl stares at the sailboat by the pier.
The streets will not flow red with anything. Who are you?
I'm Cindy the fucking Skull. What else do you want to know? Date of birth, blood type, the last time I was tested for Hep C.
Let's start with your blood type and go from there.
Go where? Accosting a minor?
Listen to your partner, pig man. Keep your grubby hooves off little old ladies.
You keep looking off to the side. What are you looking at? She turns her head to face the coast and nods disdainfully towards Joyce, performing maintenance on her boat. Hatred? Disgust? It's difficult to tell which of the two is more present in her girlish features. The woman on the boat does not notice her staring.
That is on her. Someone's got to keep an eye on her.
You mean Joyce?
On a first name basis with her, are we? Piggy's moving up in the world.
Hold on, what's Ozon?
It's where they grow whores like her. And they're whoremen.
Well, the negativity.
Have you got a crush on her? Aching for an opportunity to defend her honor.
What are you doing to the wall?
Can't you tell? I'm painting a beautiful mural, an aereo graffitio visible from low orbit. I haven't really started it yet. I'm waiting for the right words.
So you don't know what to write?
Have you ever tried your hand at graffitio? When faced with a blank wall, most people write unimaginative stuff, like pigs go home and Mona was here. We rarely see pigs round here, though. Just union cads. And my name's not Mona, so...
She wants it to be something true and total. Why are you so committed to defacing the building?
This place is severely lacking in havoc. Not even the occasional trash can fire to break up the tedium. I thought I'd mix it up, you know. Summon the forces of crime and social chaos with a wall-sized invitation.
I have an opinion on this. Want to hear it?
Yeah?
I love public art. Don't mind us. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks. I'm sure the inspiration will come to me now that I have an official RCM stamp of approval.
You've lessened her desire to deface the building. Do you know anything about the recent murder?
I ain't no snitch, pigstein. Go forth and forage in someone else's shit. No shortage of squealers in these parts.
Actually, there is a shortage of people who talk to us in a normal, calm, informative manner.
We weren't put on this earth to make your life pleasant, fucko.
Catch you later, Cindy.
Watch your back, ungulate. You've got eyes on you.
Ooh. Free coat. Let's see, what is my jacket currently? It's currently giving me the Esprit de Corps. That tab detective mode does make it easier. I have an opinion. You're doing great. Oh man, it's gonna hurt having piss poor conceptualization. Because, ooh, on the other hand, Jesus, yeah. Even with +4 to this thing, I'm still rocking nothing. Why am I looking at this wall? You know what? Every now and, an 8% chance can come up. Nope. You have no clue. It's just a wall. So many walls all over Martinez. Weather-worn, cracked, their paint peeling. Oh, hey, it's Kuno S. Great.
Are you trying to sneak up on me? Come to slit my throat in my sleep? Pigs come to take me out? Trying to snuff me out?
If anything, you're afraid she'll take you out one day. Are you sleeping right now?
Don't get fucking clever with me, pig. You think you're so clever. Trying to sneak up on me?
You see a young man on a balcony nursing a cigarette. His eyes have been following you for a while.
Not looking for any trouble, officer.
Despite the cold, his shirt hangs unbuttoned on his frame. Why are you whispering? It sounds like you're already in trouble.
There's no trouble. I'm just speaking in a lowered voice. I don't want to be seen talking to the gendarmerie, if that's okay. I just want to finish my cigarette.
It's the god of cigarettes and youth. Ask him if he's got anything to spare. Don't let him go. This could be your witness. The balcony has a great view of the whole thing.
Apologies, but this is my last one.
The god himself has denied you absolution. Can't you just, toss that one down?
I'm not sure that's a good idea.
Shut up and throw, kid.
I'm not throwing anything.
There's no way you'd catch that cigarette anyway. What, really? Yes, really. Don't even try. You'll just embarrass yourself. You're right. That was obviously a bad idea. Forget I said anything.
Wish.
Actually, the gendarmerie really needs to talk to you.
Is it really that important?
He asks you, adjusting his shirt. Like a nervous cat, he keeps stealing looks at the neighboring windows.
All right, but make it quick. Once I finish this cigarette, I have to run.
Looks like you've got a good view of the Whirling's backyard. Can you tell me anything about the hanging?
I'd even go so far as to say that the view is a little too good, my dear gendarme. Do you have an estimate of when the body will be taken away?
We will remove the body as soon as possible. Now tell us, where were you last Sunday?
Oh. You already asked me that, didn't you?
Did you?
No, not you two. Some more muscular type.
And when did you speak to this more muscular gentleman?
The lieutenant takes out his little blue notebook and writes something down.
Last week? I don't know. Look.
He looks around the courtyard again. Old patio chairs and dead houseplants litter the scene.
You didn't answer the question. What were you doing last Sunday?
I had a friend over.
What kind of friend?
It was my Sunday friend.
A Sunday friend? How intriguing. Makes sense. Friends are nice on Sunday. You don't have to work, you can just spend time with pals, watching rugby and drinking beer. What's your friend's real name? Did he see something? He doesn't reply, gesturing no with his cigarette. Under the dull and darkening sky, the neighboring windows stand silent. Someone hides behind a curtain. Those windows have eyes, and those eyes are watching, spying on you three. Can you tell me your name?
My name? My name is Martin Martinez.
Martin Martinez? Good local name. Let's go with that. All right. We'll talk later.
No. We won't.
He takes one last drag of his cigarette before stubbing it out on the balcony.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I really need to get going.
I fucked up. Convince him to stay. Can I? No, I can't, like, put on another jacket. Yes! Kim's voice is really good. Like, it's low-key, but perfect. This is my first time with Final Cut, too, so. This isn't the place or time for questions. Who knows who might be watching from the distance, hidden behind the curtains. Hey, listen. I'm just trying to make things okay again. Can we meet again somewhere else? For a moment, the man on the balcony seems almost vulnerable. Something moves in the depths of his feline eyes. Compassion and a hint of understanding.
I am sorry, but I really don't have the information you're looking for.
His voice is soft and deliberate. With a flick of his wrist, he sends the cigarette butt sailing over the rail. But hold on, what's that? For a split second, his hand lingers, as though gesturing toward a stone placed right next to the front door. It's a sign.
Good luck with the investigation.
He walks away.
He's gone.
The lieutenant puts away his notebook and turns to you. We should run after him, see where he went.
No point in running. Tenements like these often have multiple exits. If he doesn't want to talk to us, then he'll know how to hide himself.
So we just give up?
He could be a witness. Him or his Sunday friend. Either way, we need to look into that muscular type who's asking about our case. He did leave us a sign. Did you see that? He wanted to draw our attention to that stone right over there.
The lieutenant nods towards a small rock on a soggy patch of grass.
If we find a way inside the building, we can ask around for his apartment.
Great, let's do that. A stone like any other, lying in a whirl of sleet and mud. Maybe there's something under it? There's a key beneath it, rusty from the
This
dirt.
must be for the front door. Pity he doesn't have the apartment number on it. This building has many apartments, and the man can be in any of them.
How are we going to find the right one?
We'll just have to go in and see.
Put the stone back. All right, I'm not going to do the apartment building today because we're getting late in the day and I don't want to have to like stop halfway through. Chairs and tables eaten by rain and rot. Orange bum hat and some Nosafed. I will take some Nosafed. Just a closed door, but you look at it suspiciously. These barrels are half full of rainwater. Right in the mouth hole. If you had a bag in your hand, perhaps you could collect these bottles and sell them. This coin-operated viewer is facing southwest. Its coin slot is full of fossilized bubblegum, rendering the machine permanently inaccessible. Poor little viewer. Vandalism.
Probably some kids.
The lieutenant inspects the rigged slot. Look inside. A thick layer of graffitio covers the lenses. You spell out the word Onuk written on the other side with N and C scribbled backwards. Shift your focus to the background. Under the graffitio, a sea of blues and grays appears. Behind the water lies a coast studded with concrete and reeds. On it, a church on stilts, lanky, weather-worn wooden planks, an X-shaped cross topping its tower. The church looks old and weather-worn. There are no lights in the windows.
Better mouth your watch around me, boy.
You hear the distant squall of seabirds. Oh, hey, it's a tear bag. Running around in our gloves and our tear bag. A splatter of bullet holes lines the wall. Picking up tear. Picking up tear. Cleaning up the streets of Martinez. Ooh, glass tear and plastic tear. Making the big money. This coin-operated viewer is facing south. The instruction manual says to insert 25 centimes and pull the handle while looking inside, then use the focus knob to zoom if necessary. Pull the handle and look inside. The curtains on the display open. You lean in to catch the view. It's blurry, different blues and greens. In the middle of the shimmer stands a Drey-grab shape, like a ghost. Turn the knob to focus your vision. The lenses shift, the ghost sharpens into an islet in the bay. In the ruins, a man-made structure is visible. A half-sunken sea fort, its concrete almost reconquered by nature. It looks as if it was abandoned quite some time ago. Nothing but a rotten tooth remains of the anti-aircraft tower. A lonely birch tree grows out of it. Its leaves ripped from it by the winter wind. There are ruins of some kind of building there.
Really? I don't have the eyesight to make it out.
Hang in there, little one. Little brave birch tree seems to wave back in the wind. Cleaning up the streets today in Martinez. Doing the Jamrock Shuffle. This coin-operated viewer has been banged up, inoperable. Some great tectonic force has cracked the pavement like an eggshell. Millions of garbage. Garbage for me. Millions of garbage, but it's not for free.
I can't believe it's snowing again.
The young woman watches the falling snow and sighs.
It felt like springtime just a few days ago.
Alright. She has nothing else to say to us yet. Well, let's start interrogating people.
I am a gander and a hunter and a gatherer. Feel like a traveler.
The man mutters to himself, accenting the beats as he goes.
From another planet. Hey there.
I am the law. What's going on here?
It's the jam, my man.
He motions toward the sprawl of lorries with a sweeping gesture. What's the jam?
It's a traffic jam for the ages. Harbor gates up the street are shut tight. No explanation given. Workers on strike, scabs agitating, an all-around clusterfuck. Meanwhile, we're all stuck here in long-haul limbo for days upon days upon days. Upon days.
Limbo, huh? So that's where I am.
Yeah, exactly.
So how long have you been here?
Feels like forever. Like I was born on this here roundabout and this was all I ever knew. Just me and the metal and the tires, the oil and the fumes of mazout.
You are right. Sleepy smiles. The Harry's little comments. They're very good. Extravagantly phrased, but I can roll with it.
Yeah, imagine. It's been a whole week already.
Behind the laugh, however, a touch of sorrow.
So tell me, what do you need?
Tell me more about this strike.
It's like whatever's going on over at the docks. Workers got a blockade set up, making demands, no way in or out.
What's the union demanding?
Some pretty wild stuff, I hear. Like a giant new power crane in half the company? I forget what exactly. Good on them, I guess. I've heard talk there's a company rep in town, too. Like a strike negotiator type. They'd know what's up. Precise demands and so on.
What do you think the company wants?
They want to keep that money flowing in, my man. Ka-ching.
Anything else I should know?
Anything else? Yeah, this ain't really my area of expertise. I just do my job and get paid. I have things to do and places to be. All of us do.
All of who?
Us lorry drivers. Camioners. You still hang around here waiting for this mess to end. Most have scurried off somewhere to get drunk or high. Or laid. Not that I blame them, really.
Not you?
Not my thing. Chasing transient pleasures is a drag these days. I prefer the examined life now. Thinking, reflecting, observing.
He glances down the road toward the horizon, a glint of something in his eyes. What's better than chasing transient pleasures? The more transient, the better. When one's ended, you can get on to the next one. Know anything about the dead man?
He ain't one of us drivers. I know that. All accounted for. Otherwise, I haven't really asked about that. Been wasting time right here. Keep him busy.
It's easy to see he's telling the truth. He's kept his nose out of the dark stuff. Busy with what?
Analyzing the fundamental structural and psychological conditions of being stranded in the midst of a sea of motor lorries and their sad, despondent chauffeurs.
And your conclusion?
A sense of surprise there ain't more bodies hanging from more trees.
What are you hauling anyway?
Oh, high-grade narcotics, illegal firearms, stuff like that.
Time to arrest him! Wicked. I've always wanted a friend in the underworld.
Ha! No, I'm joking, my man. Found runs a nice, clean business. This haul of cargo is mostly sporting goods. You know, tracksuits and that kind of thing. They usually get shipped to Grodd and the Occident. Though we've been making headway in the Il Moran market lately.
That's your machine behind you?
This rockin' beauty. Sure is. Like a rash you can't get rid of. You interested in heavy-duty cargo machinery?
Not really. I just asked because, I don't know, must be a cop reflex. Yeah, these lorries are pretty neat.
For carrying large quantities of cargo a long distance. These found tracksuits need to find their way to the kids way out in Wamrau and Loran Bird somehow.
There it is again. A little touch of sadness beneath his cool. He thinks he spent too long in this lorry.
Not unless they've illegalized sports equipment while I was on the road.
Could I get one of those fallen tracksuits you're hauling?
We're pals and all, but I can't just freely hand out the merchandise. The bosses won't be happy.
There's no denying it. Your body needs to feel the touch of some good performance wear. Right, I had another question. Hey, yes, okay, fine. We're not going much longer tonight, but yeah, disco. Disco! I'll take a shot at it. Yeah. Ease into it. Don't go too far. This seems like a personal matter. My man, I want to know about your soul!
Cool. We all want to know each other's woes and all. But people, man, they have slippery souls.
Just like that. He slips out of your reach. It's possible the yelling didn't help. You seem like a man who knows about drugs.
Ah, man. Me and narcotics go way back. Had some good times surfing the psychic waves of my own consciousness, you know? But those days are behind me. There are other addictions in my life now. Why the inquiry, my man?
Let me be straight with you. I'm trying to figure out who's smuggling drugs out of Terminal B.
We have a credible lead, sir. Someone on this roundabout is waiting for a bulk shipment from the harbor to load it on their lorry and drive it to Jamrock.
Not me, man. No way. I don't need any trouble. Shit's bad enough anyway. This jam's got folks up in arms, and I'm afraid it's headed toward a conflagration.
Wait, then why are you still hanging around?
Gotta guard the stuff. Bosses don't look kindly on missing cargo. And it gives me time to work on my rhymes.
Oh, thank you, Sleepy Smiles. Working on these rhymes clearly leads to muscular atrophy. Make sure you don't get hooked on poetry. Who do you think could be conducting the drug trade then?
Look, man, I try to stay away from the criminal underbelly of Revachol. I'm a guest here. You really need to find another man to probe with those questions.
He's a poet. Hit him with your best verse. Your best verse? You don't even have a bad verse in here. Just tumbleweed and liquor stains. Wait, no. What are you doing? She broke me. She fucking broke me.
That's brutal, man. But you know, time will...
No, stop. He's already mortified. No, Tommy, these are my rhymes. Listen. She fucked me till I bled.
That's,
In the name of God, what are you doing?
I will never be the same again. She's always there. Fuck the case. Fuck everything. Total doom.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. These are your rhymes. They're from your life. Doesn't matter if they're robust, they're honest. So, thanks, man.
Yes. And I also thank you for stopping. We have a drug investigation to return to. How about we do that?
We could take another shot at empathy now. Hey, Tommy, spill the beans. What's troubling you?
Man, nothing's troubling me. Just the usual Lorman tropes and hopes. The road and the rhymes. This jam ain't helping either.
That all the beans you got, Tommy? Damn, it really is hard to talk man to man.
Don't be a stranger.
He gives a salute with 2 fingers. God, I really hope I can get out of this without breaking Tommy. Breaking Tommy sucks. Alright, let's talk to the racist again.
Looking for something, Hunt? Come to tell me to fuck off again?
You're a lorryman, right? What's your stance on drugs?
Drugs? They're shit, man. I don't let anything pollute my body.
He takes a long drag on his cigarette. Why not?
You know where that shit comes from? Sarah Miriza, Safre, Ilmara. They take the money from our local junkies here and then use it to outcompete us in the manufacturing sector. They know they can't beat us in a fair fight, so they have to get us to weaken ourselves somehow. It's racial sabotage, racial economic sabotage.
So I take it you're not smuggling drugs out of Martinez.
Not in, not out. I'll never betray the purity of my tribe.
So you're telling us that you don't know anything about drug smuggling through Terminal B?
I don't know shit. If I did, I wouldn't tell you.
Then why are you still hanging around here for? Most other Kamanors have left.
What do you think? I can't leave the lorry unguarded. Stuff's been getting looted lately. It's those little kips sneaking on at night. If they touch my stuff, the bosses will be on my ass like ass cancer.
I did see one lorry with the trailer doors open on my way here. Do you know what happened?
Yeah, I knew that guy. He was an honest driver who loved this country. We were having a good debate about genetics at the Wheeling in Rags when some kip boys smashed his lock and took damn near everything. Lost his fucking job over it. Since he left, I haven't had anyone to talk to.
Serves him right.
It's a fucking travesty is what it is.
If it's not you, then who's running drugs through Terminal B?
Isn't it obvious? Fucking Sealang, that beady-eyed South Samaran. His little side business is a scam. I wouldn't be surprised if he was peddling drugs as well.
Who's that?
He's a Samaran guy who likes to pretend he's some kind of businessman. Really, he's just selling his employer stuff. Stuff he stole after he broke the seals on his Humanox lorry.
Where do I find him?
Just follow the smell. It smells like apricot and oil when you're nearby.
The lorryman lets out a raspy croak at his own sense of humor.
Yes, yes. Where is he?
Looks like I offended your partner there. Too bad. Sea Lang's usually a little bit south of here, near the canal. You can't miss him. Just watch yourselves. His tribe are natural liars. It's in their blood. He's your man, all right? 100%.
I wouldn't be so sure about it. Not until we've heard what Sea Lang himself has to say.
Guess we need to pay Selang a visit then.
Guess so.
We're done for now.
We should think about calling it a day, maybe. The nights are still miserably cold this time of year.
I haven't paid the cafeteria manager for damages
We
yet.
should take care of that then.
I think I have the money now. This is money, right?
I'll also take a room at the Whirling. One cannot get much closer to the crime scene.
He's proud of you for getting your act together and finding a way to pay back what you owe. I mean, admittedly not the most dignified way of getting the money, but it worked. You know what? I think the game, yeah, time is still moving. We're not at no time yet. So let's take a shot. Let's take one more shot at this. I've got some loose health. All right, physical instrument. Let's fucking do this thing.
Your race descent has only worsened since I last saw you. You have really let yourself go.
Knock him out. Yes! And just like that, instinct took over. A solid strike right into his throat, into the cartilage. You could swear you felt the soft palate break. The man is reeling, gasping for air. Time stands still around you. In the distance, the sounds of the harbor are falling silent. All you hear is a small gurgling sound as a trickle of blood appears on the man's lip. He's open. Rip into him. Right hook. Escalate it. Get intimate with him. Bring the hurt closer. Rip into him with a right hook. I didn't do the spin kick. I'm sorry. Oh, spin kick is the right answer? Half-light. Oh god, wrong move! Your head is in his hands like a pair of forceps crushing you, and you can feel every jewel.
You know the words.
I'm a fool. I listened to Half-Light. Fucking Half-Light. How did this happen? I was winning? You were, but then you made a wrong move, and now your skull feels like it's about to crack. Never. Even under the increased force in your skull, there is no pain. Just the sound of your own blood gushing in there, feeding your mind with oxygen.
It must be neurodegenerative. You never learn.
It's letting me do it again. Back up and perform a 360-degree flying spin kick. Fucking A. The man lands with a dull thump, like a broken down puppet of muscles and sinew. For a moment, he still tries to keep his head up, dazed eyes looking at you with unimaginable surprise. To your left is the button. The end has begun. I am the lion-headed cavalry. As you slam your fist on the button, the man collapses entirely, his head rolling to the side.
Looks like you're the new measurehead now.
No one is the new measurehead. Let's go before he gets up.
The man is still knocked out. He breathes slowly and steadily. All right, let's finish out with our nightly with Gart, and then we'll have our nightly chat with Kim, and that'll be it for tonight. which means that next time we'll have both the, which will be next Sunday, we'll have both the autopsy and the interview with Everart. So, woof. Autopsy mildly impacted by me putting a bullet in the dude. Hey, Lena.
Can I help you?
Here's your trash container key.
Thanks. I hope you found what you were looking for.
I found the victim's clothes.
How strange. I certainly didn't put them there.
Who else has keys to the trash container?
The trash collection service? CS Municipal. I don't see why they would put anything in the trash, though.
Ah, the elusive CS Municipal. I doubt we'll be able to track down who was sent here last and when. This will have to be one of those little threads that solves itself down the road.
On Clinton Street, near the Boogie Street Diamond, a small truck rattles down an alleyway. It stops by a rusted trash container. Two men, their faces rough and swollen, jump out. They look at the container despondently. CSM is written on their backs.
Thank you anyway.
Maybe you don't remember putting them there. Maybe you were sleepwalking or in a fugue
I
state.
think fugue states are more your forte, officer.
Oh, classic Gartzing. Could someone on your staff have put them there?
Sylvie had the keys before I got here, and I can vouch for her. I can vouch for all my staff. None of us would tamper with the crime scene.
Thanks. Let's talk
Yes.
about something else. So about the money I owe.
Yes, have you got it?
I have your money.
Well,
Here's 100 real.
great. Thank you, officer. That's all I wanted. Payment for services rendered. If you continue to stay here, I just ask that you please pay your nightly bill in advance starting tomorrow. I'll unlock the electronic lock to your room. All the doors lock automatically at 9 p.m. Please pay for each night in advance starting tomorrow. 20 real per night.
I'll take a room here too.
Of course. Always happy to have officers from the RCM as guests. Anything else I can do for you?
Goodbye. I'm carrying my bag of terror. Knock. There is no answer. You hear the shower being turned on somewhere inside. A tremendous loneliness comes over you. Everybody in the world is doing something without you. Swallow the emotion. I'm so alone. Knock again. Knock again, much harder. Still nothing. Lieutenant gives you a quick glance. He doesn't like where this is going. You should punch a fucking hole in it. Suppress the urge. The murmur in your ears recedes slowly. Your breathing normalizes. That's one lucky door.
Yes?
Oh shit, I forgot. I need to convince Kim there's a sexy dark mystery twist in this case.
What do you want to know?
Now that we've inspected the scene, I want to know more about this pissing competition you mentioned.
What's there to say? It's just stupidity.
What kind of stupidity?
The cop kind. Our precincts can't decide if Martinez is part of Jamrock or the Industrial Harbor. Yours or mine, as if we somehow own parts of the city. Typical street gang mentality. So we've let the Union make a mockery of law enforcement here. And now it's come to its natural conclusion.
Ah, so this is a struggle over who runs Martinez.
Well, sort of. It's less a matter of who gets to police Martinez than who has to. It's an orphan district, in other words. I think the dispatch desk just told both our stations about the hanging. There was quite the brouhaha at the 57th, I can tell you that. Time to settle it, they said. Cop off. But I assure you, I am not their finest or toughest with 102 cases solved. What I am is least interested in a pissing competition.
What's special about Martinez?
Martinez? Nothing. It's just a puddle at the end of some drain pipe. No one cares about this place. They care about sports. Most of our colleagues don't even know how to get here. North of the interchange doesn't exist.
A tremble comes over you. Another after effect of ethanol poisoning, perhaps? Feels like leaves do when they rustle in the breeze, somewhere far away below the turbine. The 41st and the 57th. The lieutenant was right. It's not about who gets what's north. It's about who doesn't. I wonder what that says about me, that I was sent by my station. He raises an eyebrow, thinking it best to let you make the next move. I must be an augury, an apocalyptic omen sent by my people. Can you guess my message?
No.
There will be a bloodletting of unimaginable proportions. Unimaginable.
Oh no, it's very imaginable. We fail to place responsibility for the hanging. The harbor company see the situation is out of control, so they bring in private military, maybe a gunship. The Union responds in strength. Automatic fire. Local law enforcement solving one little homicide decides nothing. Not solving it can have real and calculable effects. Things can always get worse. Matter of fact, augury, we should move.
Okay, enough of the competition then.
Yes, it's a wholly pointless matter. Forget I ever mentioned it.
Why did the 41st send me? Because you're the best qualified? That doesn't seem right. Dumb brain, I'm good for nothing. Oh, shit. I shouldn't have done that. That was a waste of magnesium. Oh well. This is the door to the room you redecorated. Good night, Lieutenant.
Just a moment. You had some questions earlier, I believe. And besides, we should discuss our progress on the investigation. Let's go out to the balcony.
All right, let's go. It is good roleplay. Dumb brain. The air outside is brisk. The lieutenant is silent for a moment. He listens to the traffic hum, then.
Where shall we begin? We should talk about the investigation, first and foremost. But I also remember you wanting to discuss the RCM?
He lights a cigarette. I didn't know you smoked, Kim.
I have a cigarette every night when I go over my notes. It's something of a ritual.
Oh man, he looks so devastatingly cool with that cigarette. How did you get so cool, Kim?
You mean this? This isn't cool. It's an unnecessary trial of will and unhealthy.
Keeping the habit within the parameters he's given himself takes a lot of focus. It would be easier to simply quit. Right then, the debrief.
Yes, it's been a long and eventful day.
So what are our powers exactly? The RCM?
They're quite limited, actually. The power officers of the Revachol Citizens Militia exercise most frequently.
He's
is
the best of the
imposing
best.
fines of up to 1,000
The goodest of the good
for
cops.
offenses, in accordance with an interdepartmental schedule.
Wouldn't that be an easy power to abuse?
Yes, although indirectly, as citizens can always request records from their local station. Officers of the RCM have been known to take bribes of less than the prescribed fine amount. It undermines trust in the RCM.
1,000? Why not more?
The RCM's primary role is to ensure safety. We are not really supposed to play any part in the economic structure of Revachol.
Okay, what else?
We can arrest people, of course, but rather than bringing someone in directly, it's preferable to serve a station closely. It prevents confusion and overcrowding.
Wait, how can you be sure the arrestee will show up?
You can't. Those who don't show up become fugitives, though, and have fewer legal rights when they are eventually caught. It's about power projection. Thus far, they seem to mostly show up.
When power calls you, you come. But power itself is a fragile trick of perception. I see. And if someone resists?
As you may have gathered from the fact that we are expected to carry a record of our kills, like the one in the watermarks, we are permitted to use whatever force is necessary, and strongly admonished not to abuse that power.
Wait, so if I kill someone while on duty?
You have to supply compelling evidence for why it was necessary to use lethal force. In these cases, your partner is usually your witness. Not a good position to be in, by the way. Internal Affairs handles these cases thoroughly, by cross-examining you for inconsistencies. It is hard to cover for anyone, which is for the best.
What happens to the people we convict?
We don't convict. We arrest and send them to coalition government courts in Courant and La Delta. The prosecution works off our testimonies and records, which is why it's paramount to keep them.
He taps on his coat pocket, where he keeps his notes. And who makes all these rules?
The coalition government and the moral intern, more broadly. The RCM was formed by the coalition government to restore order in the international zone after the revolution. So we did. Now we attempt to maintain that order. No more, no less.
His gaze is absently fixed on a window below that just went dark.
Or perhaps it is better to say we were allowed to form. It's a point of contention whether the citizens of Revachol or the coalition government founded the RCM.
Let's say it was the citizens of Revachol.
Be sentimental if you like. Either way, the Morlinton leases us the right to keep the peace in this city, and they will take it away if we misuse it.
The Moral Intern, what is it?
The Moralist International are the world's largest political organization. You know who they are. They have been running this place after the revolution failed.
I really don't know. That's how bad it is in here.
Okay. They're a union of center-left and center-right parties across the Real Belt. Our coalition government is just one of its many projects. They also run the ICP, EPIS, most intergovernmental organizations in the world.
What do they believe in?
What do they believe in? They are Dolorians. They believe they continue the humanist project set forth by Her Innocence Dolores Day 4 centuries ago. Others say they are just technocrats.
What is their symbol?
Interesting question. It's a blue forget-me-not. Their motto is love, compassion, self-discipline. I think you can gauge what they want you to think of them from that.
Something ominous. Something even a little feminine, but in a strict manner. Who was Dolores Day?
A historic figure? The author of the modern age? You will have to look elsewhere for opinions. The subject of humanism is too abstract for me.
For you, she is something painful, though it's hard to say why. What do you think of them?
The moral intern are a fact. I try not to have opinions on facts until they change. And it doesn't look like that's about to happen.
It's more than that. There's some kind of affection in him. You like the moral intern?
Yes, I did, when I was younger. In my 20s, I considered myself a moralist. A blue forget-me-not, a piece of the sky. They're not all that bad. But the years have changed that. I don't know what I believe in now. No, I believe in the RCM. That's enough for me.
I have an opinion on the moral intern.
Do you?
The lieutenant arches his brow, then pulls on his cigarette. It's a slim white thing in his fingers. We're stooges of the world's biggest bourgeois organization, protecting bourgeois rights.
No, we are stooges of the world's biggest bourgeois organization, protecting the people of Revachol. That's the hand we were dealt. Without the MI, we would be common vigilantes.
Maybe we should make our own law?
Spoken like a revolutionary, not a cop. But hypothetical aside, in Martinez we already are vigilantes. At least the Union thinks so. I expect our job here to prove quite challenging.
He looks at the roundabout. The lights of the orphan district are reflected in his glasses. The red and golden orbs of the motorway sliding like pearls in a string from east to west, as Revachol commutes back to the suburbs. Tomorrow is Tuesday. Monday is over. How do you think today went?
Well, we inspected the victim's body, so that's good. It was not easily approachable in that state, but we did it. Our inspection could have been more thorough, as it always can, but we have some leads we can follow up on. Then you shot him in the chest, which wasn't ideal, and we still have to get him down from the tree.
I still can't believe I missed that shot.
Being sober tends to help with precision. But moving on to the interviews, we weren't able to find the union leader, Evrard Claire, much less interview him. So that's on the to-do list for tomorrow. We tried to interview the Wild Pines rep, but she asked us to do something for her first. Fine, so be it. I have a feeling Joyce knows how dangerous the situation really is. We have to get her to talk to us.
He purses his lips.
Above all, though, today was exhausting. What's with all the running? You run a lot. Is that a standard Precinct 41 practice?
I have a really good theory about why you're running so fast, son. Just you wait until we get up tomorrow. I don't know why I do the things I do, Lieutenant Kitsuragi.
It's impressive, especially for a man your age. And in those hills.
He nods thoughtfully, tapping his finger on his cigarette.
Nice shoes, by the way. I like the green. Goes with the orange.
He looks at your snakeskin shoes and smiles suddenly. Say nothing. Just look into the night. The dying lights of the city shimmer below. Slowly, like luminous clouds, they pass on his lenses. The lieutenant looks at his slim cigarette, contemplating the next drag. This soldier is the highlight of the day for me, he thinks. This little stick right here.
They really don't like us here. And the mouth on that kid, Kuno. It's different inland, in Jamrock and the GRIH.
He pulls on the cigarette. Why are they like this?
It's our fault for leaving this place to the dogs, to the Union, to the company. Not daring to come here more often. It's like I told you, this place is an orphan, fallen between the cracks.
And in Jamrock and the GRIH?
We run this city. West of the river is RCM land.
He looks at the dark silhouette of the equestrian monument cutting into the night sky.
It's incredibly hard. Human beings are... But we are in control, and it's worth it. The organization works. Our systems work. If they didn't, the city would disintegrate.
I hope our investigation will help improve the situation here. At least do some good.
Me too. But I wouldn't count on any drastic changes in our lifetimes.
Thank you for this.
Yeah, it's getting very cold now. Let's go.
He puts out the stub of his cigarette and looks to the door. Use your chain cutters to fix the faucet. Stop steam from fogging up the mirror. Nope. The chain cutters slip out of your hands as you attempt to twist the faucet into place. Well, you know one thing for sure. You've probably never been a plumber. The bed is cold and not particularly inviting, but it's yours. The sheets look awful. Crawl in. The sheets feel at once coarse and clammy against your skin. The bed sags beneath your weight as you stretch out and finally close your eyes. It really is a tremendously good video game. We'll do whatever dream we get here. And then sleep doesn't come. Why? Maybe it's the bed's fault? Check the pillow. Synthetic filling is separated into hard lumps. The pillowcase smells oddly. Check the blanket. Barely covers your toes, stretching over your soft belly. This is your body here, intimate and warm, breathing. Under your thrumming eyelids, you see a dizzying array of colors. You won't get off this carousel quite so easily. Roll over to the other side. It's a little better. Colors, scenes, and half-formed phrases still litter your mind. Part of you is still trying to solve the case, isn't it? Who killed him? Who? Something to do with... What was it that the lieutenant said? Union? And it's gone again, your thoughts lost between the slowing brainwaves. No more thoughts. Fall asleep now. Your breathing steadies. A great silence washes over you, till your eyelids twitch in your sleep and images start forming. Do you remember the scent of your childhood? I was born in a hospital where people usually go to die. You're not kidding anyone, Harry. You don't remember shit. Tell me. Do you remember your wife's hand on your face? You said, who? Do you remember the warmth of her thighs between her legs and in her mouth? Tell me what this is. I'm not answering before you tell me who you are. You know who I am. I am the bad day. The one where you ask her and then later in the streets, wandering. It's the worst day of all time, Harry dear, and it's coming. She will hear about it on the phone. Reality will turn into a grotesque nightmare. This will be the last thing you did to her. Tell me, do you remember the love of your life? I was left. That's right, funky baby, and you just stood there. One hand on the bottle and the other hand on your dick, watching her go. Let it all be dragged away from you. Tell me, where are your friends? Human beings have friends, Harry boy. Where the hell are yours? I can get it all back. No, it's gone. 3 times gone and never coming back. You failed. You failed me. You failed Elysium. What is Elysium? Everything. The Pale and the Islas. On the surface, the outer magnetosphere, burning, furious truth, 8,000 years of written history. You really dropped the ball, Harry. 4.6 billion people, and you failed every single one of them. You really fucked up. I've talked to you before. No, Harry, you were just talking to yourself. That is all that you ever do, even in your dreams. And the act is wearing thin. The spots of the disco ball fade around you. You'll be back in those cold snakeskins in no time, sweating up the bed. Stinky boy. I can come back from this. You're not coming back from shit! Thrashing around in that high conductivity state of yours, bumping into things and acting like a clown. Who are you kidding? I'm trying to solve this case. You're trying to what? I can't hear you. This is just a word dream now. Jumbled up garbage. The pictures are gone. The bed rises to meet you. A thin, sleep-like state. More glass than velvet grinding in your head. Something's wrong. Sleep shouldn't be this bad, this dry, this unnourishing. There's something wrong with your thoughts. Some kind of new type of hangover. God, there's another type? Oh yes, party boy. And it's worse than the one before. Just think of the shit you saw. Here it comes, too, so soon already. A silent alarm goes off in your head like clockwork. Barely lets you sleep at all. Time to get those clothes on, Harry. Time to go to work in the shit factory. Bit harsh. Bit harsh, that. Yeah, it's a little harsh, isn't it? End of day 1. Thanks, everybody. Good going, buddy. I just had the most beautiful dream. Uplifting. Rejuvenating. Really? Because you feel even worse this morning than you did last night. What the hell is going on with me? Why are you so tired? Too tired and down to even think? It is worrying, isn't it? You can't be a detective like this. Detectives need to be able to think. No, that's not it. Really, I feel super good. That's not really true. Your heart has finally pumped all the speed out of your system, Buster. Time to get some more. Don't do that. Stay strong. The hangover will wear off. You don't need to keep doing this to yourself. Wait, what is speed? Speed is a potent central nervous system stimulant. It kept you propped up all day yesterday despite your debilitating hangover. How else did you think you even got up from the floor? You got up from this floor because of a holy vow you made 16 years ago with me to wake up exactly 7:30 every morning until the day you die. I love Volition. Volition is an arc, but I love Volition. Don't be silly. There was no vow. You were high on speed. That was the only reason you got up. You can't detect without it. It's that simple. No, I can take this. I am not going to go looking for speed. Are you sure? Ready to live as this pathetic shell of yourself for days? Basically a week? Let's be honest. 2 weeks, maybe 3. You won't make it. Half the town will be dead by then, and you will be fired. That's a lie. I can do this without the speed. Half the town won't be dead. Suit yourself, slow, sad shell man. See how you do without your spark. Good fucking video game, y'all. Have a good night. We'll be Fortnite on Friday.